Hello, and thank you for joining us at Straight Outta Savannah, talking with Tammy, with my guest Anika Wilson. She is on fire, and I am so excited to be here talking to her. So I'm just going to let her introduce herself. Anika, tell the people who you are.
Hi, everybody. My name is Anika Wilson. I am the owner of Nobody Greater LLC. I'm also the curator of Women of Impact Conference Series. I am the host of Your Voice, Your Power with Anika podcast and many other ventures.
Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. I appreciate your time. And right now we want to get into it. So the first question I want to ask you is, how did you come to your journey? How did you get to that place? I mean, what were the defining moments for you?
Oh, defining moments. Let's see. Well, my journey started when I was 14 with a sexual assault. And at that time, I was a girl and life did not stop. It was just starting to get crazy. And, I went to college. I did all the things I was supposed to do, right? The things that life tells us we're supposed to do. Went to college, became a correction officer, worked in law enforcement, worked in social services, had children, wound up being a single mom for many years. And I've always been a very spiritual person, but I was very angry at God for about 10 years and stuff just kept happening. And I was like, why me? I struggled with anxiety my whole life, which I did not know was PTSD from childhood exposure. It was just things compiling and compiling. But the one thing that one of my early therapists told me, she said, your IQ is what has sustained you. And so I used that as a tool, and I just kept learning and reading and going back to school and digging and trying to find out how to change the narrative. We grow up in certain households. I grew up in a single parent home. And I was very confused, angry, frustrated, as a girl trying to mold my self-esteem, my self-confidence, like all the things that develop at an early age, and then you just compile life on top of it. It just kept going. And then I had 2 daughters, and it was like, okay, like I don't want my stuff to manifest on my children. So I have to do something to start changing this, generational curse. And so I started applying a lot of the things that I thought I knew. You learn things professionally, you learn things through, life, but then you also learn things through education. And so I put it all together, and around about 35 years old, it was just rough. I almost died. I had blood clots in my lungs. I was battling chronic illness, fibromyalgia, which a lot of people do not believe in. My body was failing me. I woke up one day and I couldn't walk. I had a newborn child. I had a husband that just walked out. It was just, everything was just, I didn't think it could come to a head after the other heads that had come to previously. You're like, it can't get worse. It just kept getting worse. And one day I woke up and I said, I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor. And I know way more than I should know at my age. And now I have to help other people not go through what I went through and work smarter, not harder. And in 2018, I birthed Women of Impact. I walked out of my job as a substance abuse therapist, and I started my own life coaching agency. And that was the beginning of the best part of my life.
That is awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. So in that, you even combine like your why, that was your why, all rolled up into, I got to do this, and this is something that I'm being called to do. So is that what you felt? Did you feel like you were being called to do this? Like this is
so funny. I ran from my calling, boy. I was like runaway bride. I was gone.
The Joseph thing, huh?
Man, because my online summit is about leadership, because the thing about it is we don't choose to be leaders. You're chosen. And I ran from my calling, and I was so confused because I'm like, okay, I'm going to school to be a therapist, but I was the leader of 2 life groups in a mega church. And I was like, okay, but even when I became leaders of the life groups, I was not ready to lead. I was like, why me? God told me be obedient. And I was obedient. And every Wednesday night I sat there, and there were many days that the women weren't showing up. I was in charge of a single moms ministry and then a regular women's ministry, because a lot of women felt like they belonged in the single moms group because we had different struggles than everybody else. And these were women they were single moms who may have grown children. They just didn't fit into the family groups. And these things all shed light to me on the missing resources that are out there, on the loopholes in the systems, on the people that need help that don't get help, that don't qualify for certain things. And that was me. You know, I've been homeless. I've been through everything you can think of. And I really did not think I was called. When I thought about being called, I looked at Lisa Bevere, and I looked at Priscilla Shire, and I looked at all of these people who are ministers, you know, who appear to have it all. And I kept saying, that's not me. You know, that's not me. I even considered going to seminary school at one point, because I'm like, maybe I'm in the wrong school. Maybe I'm not going for the right things. And one day it came over me, and he said, you're custom made. And I made you just the way I did. And I gave you all the tools that you need to do what I need you to do. This is not about you. This is about you being a messenger, and I need you to be obedient. And when he told me that, I'm not asked any more questions. I just do what I'm told. And I get up every day, and I take all of these tools of life, I put them on my back, and I share them with anybody who needs them. And to me, that's true obedience. And to me, it's the best job you could possibly have.
Yes. That is so powerful. Oh my God, I almost got chill bumps thinking about that, because there are so many women, just like you said, that need that. They need that help. And some of them, what I'm discovering is they don't know what they need.
Most of us still don't. You know what I mean? Like, I have different needs. You know, one day I may need one type of thing. Another day I might need another type of thing. And that goes to show you that people aren't put in your path by accident. You know, a lot of the people used to say to me, you just befriend anybody. And I don't know, I always had the spirit that it wasn't about being better than, it wasn't about having commonalities. It wasn't about any of that. But I just knew that people cross your path for a reason. And it may not be that you need them at the very moment, but he is providing them. He works through messengers. And if you push your blessing away, then you're not going to have it when you need it. And so I let people talk about me, because they're like, oh, well, she's all over the place. You can call it whatever you want. But let me tell you something. When I need something, I have it, because I treat everybody the way that I want to be treated, and I follow what I'm told. And if you do those things, then you will never want. Yes. And it's not about the things that people seek externally. You know, they're chasing money. They're chasing dreams. They're looking to see who's doing what. They're looking over here. Did you do it like they did it? Do you know who that is? It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with what you were called to do and what your mission is. And every day that might not look the same. You got some people who can't deviate. Well, you're going to miss out. You have to just follow whatever is provided for you to work with what you got. Whether that be fish, bread, whatever it is, you got to work with what you got and stop seeking other things that don't have anything to do with your journey.
Now that's my question right there. So there are a lot of people out here that are on this entrepreneurial journey. And so when you get on that journey, you know, you start out looking and trying to see who's doing what, and if somebody's doing what you're doing, or if somebody's doing it like you're doing it, or, you know, whatever. But you start trying to find somebody that's doing it, you know, possibly get some help or whatever. But then what ends up happening is you begin to veer off, especially if you are a solitaire like you. You know that the way you do it may not be the way anybody else does it, you know, and I'm finding the same thing, that the way I'm being called to do and the things that I do are different than anybody else. It's nobody else that does it like me. Yep. You know, I have to, you know, trust in that I'm being guided in the way that I'm being guided. However, when you start looking up and you start getting what's that thing? Shiny object. You look up and you see something, you say, oh, well, maybe I can integrate that in my stuff, or maybe I can do that, or maybe I can, you know, how do you escape that? How do you help people to, you know, just say no?
I'm excellent at helping people say no. I am horrible at doing it myself. And I say that because the first year or so of my business, I got so distracted because I didn't really know what I was doing. And every time I saw something, I tried to apply it to mine and it didn't work. And that's how I learned that what's out there for everybody else is not meant for you. And I have to stay true to that. I'm even to the point now where I won't even open Facebook or Instagram and things like that when I'm trying to get work done, because when I'm not working, my content and my mission, it comes to me. And I've learned that you have to learn what you need. And you have to take everything that's out there, and you have to control your time and your energy and what you make available to you, because you have control over people's access to you and people's access to your mind. And that's the one thing that I learned. I just transitioned to an island. And so I literally did not allow information in for months. And today was the first day I opened up emails, because when I'm trying to make life decisions or I'm trying to make content, I don't want anything to influence my energy. And you have to set boundaries. And that includes your business, your family, your health, your life, and your mind. You are the ones that can access, you can provide, permissions on, just like we do on our blockers, our pop-up blockers, same thing. You control the permissions that you allow to your mind, your body, your soul, your family. You control that. You control what you let in, and you control what you let out. And if you don't have those boundaries in place and you don't have control over the information, it's going to taint whatever it is that you're working on. And so you got to stop comparing everything to what's out there and focus on what you're supposed to be doing. Because we often think that we don't have everything we need to complete a goal. It wouldn't be put on your heart if you didn't. And we're seeking, a certification or a letter or, letters, or whatever behind our names. And it has nothing to do with who you are. And so to your point, these little, those rabbit holes, they will get you, and you will lose months in your business. And another thing, sitting there and saying it's not the right time, or I can't do that yet, you'll never do it. Because I'm going to tell you a secret. You're never prepared to have kids. You're never prepared to get married. You're never prepared to graduate. You're never prepared to leave the nest. You're never prepared to quit your job. There's never a good time. That is called procrastination and insecurity. And if you let those things in, you done lost your dream.
That is profound. That's profound. Say it again.
What? Procrastination and what did I say? I said
you done lost your dream.
You will, and you'll never get it back. Because it's funny, when you're an entrepreneur and you're creating things, you don't get the same thing twice. It's like you better grab it when it comes, because otherwise it's going to be gone.
That's right. Especially, oh Lord. Yeah, you said a mouthful, especially because I noticed that, when I get things, I have to write them down right then. Mm-hmm. Right then. And if I don't, especially if I get in a dream.
Oh, yeah.
It's the weirdest thing. It's like you remember the dream as soon as you wake up, but as soon as you get up, you done forgot it if you didn't write it down.
That's right. And I tell everybody, put a notepad next to your bed. Like, people joke on me. My husband can't stand that I have pads and stuff everywhere. I have multiple notebooks. And you can't have too many, because when you are a true creative, you have to do those things.
All right.
You gotta go.
Okay, so we're gonna start shutting it down, I think, right? So in closing, what would be the thing that you would say to someone who is ready, or who thinks that they're ready to embark on the entrepreneurial dream?
I would say find like-minded individuals and grab a hold and hold on tight, because you're gonna need support and nobody else is gonna understand. Not your spouse, not your kids, not your boss. Nobody's going to understand it. And so you have to find people who can relate to what you're trying to do. You find somebody ahead of you, you find somebody parallel to you, and you find somebody behind you to look to you. And as long as you do that, you will be fine. Be open to receive resources and never be afraid to ask for help. That is the key that most people fail, because people are too prideful to ask for help, but everybody needs help.
That's powerful. I mean, that is, oh my God, that is powerful, because people don't realize that it's so important. The people that you surround yourself with, the people that you are, that you talk to, that you bounce things off of.
Mm-hmm.
And there, because I have people that I talk to probably more regularly than some of my family, but it's because we are in similar places as far as our journey in this thing. And also, we kind of grew up together, because we started with our Reiki class, and all the way through our Reiki master and all that stuff. And I don't do Reiki, but I still do energy work.
Mm-hmm.
So, but and so you can talk to these people, and you can say, hey, I'm going through this, or this is going on with me, or this is happening. It's not, this is new, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to your family, and they be like, say what? Is that God?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did you talk to God about that? Did he say you can do that? Right?
That is very true. But the thing about it is that when you have that validation from the people who can see you, I mean, truly see you, that's all you need. A lot of the women who I connect with since I started my journey, I'm closer to than people who have known me their whole lives. And it's funny, because a lot of people don't know this Nika. This Nika is a different Nika. And if you know her, I'm proud of her. That other Nika, she was a work in progress, which is all of us.
Exactly.
But this one has been stamped and verified, and she's awesome.
I was gonna say she's a bad broad, in my opinion.
Thank you. Yeah, she scares me sometimes, because I'm like, who is that? But I tell people, just get there, because it's not about ego, arrogance, none of that. It's about being comfortable in your own skin. And when you're comfortable with who you are and whose you are, you don't need nothing else.
No, you don't. And the thing is it's like you have to walk into that, though. It's like, as people are in this world awakening, they have to begin to walk into that.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, I mean, I turned 50 last year, and I am so excited, because I feel like, I mean,
Unstoppable.
shit, what nobody thinks.
Yeah.
That's where I am, because I feel like I made it, and I made it here. I raised freaking kids that are, doing well, doing themselves, doing them, being who they got to be. And you know what? And now it's just me and my husband.
And you earned it.
I'm like, shit, I did.
Yep.
All those years. And so now it's like, okay, now it's time to step into who I am and who I've always been. You know what I mean?
It's that evolution. It's like we start off like this little bud. I tell everybody we're like caterpillars, and we go to this cocoon, and it looks real ugly, y'all. Like, y'all ever seen one of them things like in 4th grade when we had that thing hanging from the jar, and that thing was like, ooh. Some of us, that cocoon was a year, some was 5, some was 10, and some was a couple decades. But it doesn't matter, because once that thing buds and it turns into a beautiful butterfly, a lot of people, they got their wings, but they still not flying. And you just got to let yourself fly. And that freedom of just being who you are and working, I mean, living your mission, living your passion, living your freedom, like being free of the pain and the trauma and all the adversity, and not being afraid of what's to come, no matter if it's good or bad, and knowing that you can deal with it and get through it, and walk in with your head held high and not apologizing for who you are today. That's everything.
What I said, preach.
Everything.
That is what's up. That is so powerful. So just let the people know where they can find you.
Well, you can find me at nobodygreaterinc.com or my newest venture, A Woman's Oasis. A woman's world, an online oasis of restoration. That is a woman's world, OA.com. And my amazing conference series is Women of Impact, CS.com. You can find me in any of those projects, or you can find my podcast. Just ask Siri or Alexa to listen to Your Voice, Your Power with Anika. And you can Google Nobody Greater LLC or Anika Wilson, and you should be able to find me. I'd love to hear from you, good or bad. Just let me know.
That is so powerful, and that's awesome. Okay, and I'll also put her details and stuff in the comments. That way you can find her if you need to reach her. She is such a powerful young lady, and I have had the pleasure to speak to her. It's been so amazing, just like every single other podcast that I do straight out of Savannah, talking with Tammi. And we're going to end this thing right here. And thank you so much for watching, and let us know that you watched, and reach out to Anika, reach out to myself anytime. And thank you so much for joining. Bye now.